What's going on, boys? No Guys here. Welcome back to another tactics video. Now, today's video, we've got the European champion, the most recent winner, Ethan, with his tactics and instructions. We're going to go through them, but also I'm going to give you a bit of a difference. I'm going to show you some gameplay, analyze it to show you how the formation itself works, some of the weak points, give you some player suggestions. Then I'm going to give you my tactics at the end, my gist on what I would change. I don't want to change too much, but what that will help you. But also something that's really important, I think a lot of pro players miss out, is to make this formation even better. That key piece of glue that I don't see anyone using just yet on a pro scene, that hopefully some of you pros that are watching or even some of you casual players can implement into your gameplay. So first of all, Denman and Ethan have gone through the video on FootWiz. I'll leave their links down below in the description. And I'll leave Ethan's social media links as well, including his Twitch, down below in the description. But their video go over it already. But I'm just going to go through the tactics very quickly. So what you do have is you have 47 width. Don't forget you are defending this time in a 4-4-2, not 4-3-2-1. And that's because Rodrigo here, he ends up becoming a right mid. And he goes, Papin ends up becoming a left mid and Neymar ends up becoming a right mid. You can swap the sides around, which I'll get onto in a second. It defends in a 4-4-2. Depth at 72. Combination of the auto offside trap, but also I think I'll explain to you the changes I'll make at the end of the video. Build up play is on balanced. It's not too aggressive. I will not recommend fast build up play or possession for this style, but you can use long ball, which I'll go into in a second. Direct passing, and his attacking width that he chose is 47. 6 players inside the box, and his corners and free kicks are on 3. Now, this is where the key piece of glue comes out. This formation, as I said, it defends in a 4-4-2, okay? Now, there's something that's going to make this formation play exceptionally better, which I'll go over towards the end. But Papin, basically, he's on comeback and defense. So, the left forward in this position, he will act as a left mid when you're out of possession, when your opponent has the ball. And as you can see here, Neymar has cover wing. So that's saying to the game, when I'm out of possession, Neymar goes to the right mid, Papin goes to left mid, and that is how you defend in a 4-4-2, okay? Then who's the two strikers? So the two strikers in the defensive phase are Ronaldo, stay central, and Rodrigo, stay central and get it behind. Ethan says he uses Rodrigo as a counter-attack player, and that is correct. You'll see that in one of the clips as well. Now, the CDM, stay back person, that's the person who's going to stay back while attacking. That's going to be your player that will kind of be there ready for the counter-attack. The way they do it, though, is they play the left centre mid on stay back, cover centre. Now, there's a reason for this, and that is because the left back is on balance. So when the left back goes forward, you want this player kind of covering for the left back, which I'll go in a second. And then you have the right mid, which is basically the attacking player. Defensively, this player is a right mid. So this is going to be the guy that kind of sits in as a right mid. You have Vieira, Vasquez, and Papin coming back as a left mid. But when you're attacking, this right mid is going to go forward, so they are unbalanced as well. And the right back is on overlap, step back while attacking. Left back is on balanced and overlap. So let's actually go into some of the clips now. I'll quickly scroll through these. You can pause these. These are his tactics. I mean, his video's down below. I don't want to take credit for his tactics. His video's down below. But we're going to be making some changes ourselves. So how, first of all, does this tactic work? Now, I'm going to show you some clips here, and we're going to go over these as well. The first one I want to show you over here is the transition. Now, when you're attacking, this tactic actually plays very well. You can see, for example, here, when I have the ball, you can see that left back, in my case, Cancelo going forward, really gives the outlet. You can see on the radar down below over here that the only downside is that when you get counter-attacked, you could get cornered behind. That is probably the only downside with this formation. You can see that there, the right back is there. But you can see that left back does allow so much attack opportunities because you've got a 3 midfield and you basically got the front 3 with Cancelo making that left mid. So you've got loads of players, of course, to use. The only downside, as I mentioned, is if you lose the ball, you're going to get counter-attack. So this player here, in my opinion, has to be someone that's quick. I'd recommend high work rates in particular, but this player's got to be quick enough to recover is what I would say. And that's the first thing. Likewise, for the counter-attack, for the right forward, you defend in a 4-4-2. So you can see, for example, like here, we've got the 4-4-2. We've got the Neymar, as you can see, on the right-hand side of the 4 over here. And you can see Papin making that left mid. And you can see when we win that ball back, we go into that transition. Neymar is there. And you can see, as Ethan suggested, Rodrigo is there with getting behind, ready for the counter-attack to then go through on goal, which unfortunately, not the best of fake shots. I wanted a 90-degree one, and a goal, an opponent did very well to defend that. So that is how you defend. You defend basically, so when you lose the ball, You can see from kickoff here, you can see I defended that 4-4-2 structure. Very, very simple to get the ball back in Papin. Now, where does this game really take place and where does the real benefits of this formation is that right mid. That right mid I really, really like, because when you win the ball back there, that gap player transitions from a right mid position all the a right mid traditionally to a right center mid. So you can use it for that quick 1-2s alongside the defensive line, and you can see with that play on balance in my case, I got Neymar. I believe he uses Ginola. That player makes those darting runs when that player is unbalanced. Long ball can help that, but that is one of the key benefits of that position. The build-up play is what I like the most, because as you can see here, when we go from a traditional 4-4-2 and we build up, we got Neymar, the right mid. Then look at the bottom. You see Cancelo just behind the control over there. That player helps with the build-up play. It creates a lot of confusion with this hand side. Now, this defender kind of has to react and then go away. But that allows us to have more space and play that direct pass in between to the strikers over there, as you can see. That is one of the key benefits of this formation. Unfortunately, it didn't really transpire in that situation, but you can see where that was used just over there. So that player can actually push that left back away and create that space into middle, driven past one of the key situations over there. We end up winning the ball back, get a bit lucky, and you can see the two strikers being Ronaldo and Rodrigo ends up scoring a very, very nice goal. You can see another example over here, we get the ball Papin, Vieira gets the ball. This is the key. He mentioned in the video, you may lose the ball with your centre mid, and if you do, you're in trouble. And that is true, because look over here, Cancelo. Cancelo goes forward over here. Cancelo goes forward, and you can see if I lost the ball and his Vieira got the ball off me, look, I would have been in serious trouble. My Cancelo that's meant to be over there is now out of position. So that is where you're going to lose the ball. The weakness is in the midfield, and that is why I would say don't play risky, especially if you're not used to playing risky. But on the other hand of that, you take that risk of being that left back going out of position. But when you win the ball back, look at the left back in loads of space, the additional attacker, lots of confusion, and it does make it really very much easier for you to go forward. We're going to go through the game-changing thing that I think even the pro players should implement in a second. So what adjustments would I make for this tactic myself? Now, as I said, it's pretty much self-explanatory, the tactics. Now, because it defends in a 4-4-2, I'll just make some minor changes. If you're on old gen, you can decrease the width, I would say, to about 35, and that is purely because of the left stick dribbling meta on old gen. New gen, it's fine. The depth, however, I would say reduce it down to 60. Now, Ethan, of course, is one of the best players in the world, and he's a top tier player for that reason. He can go with that depth. Now, the truth is, I think it's just a bit too extreme for the average player. I would say, even if you're like in Division 1, Elite Division now, I still think maybe he's a bit too high. I would say start on 60, then you can always revert back to the 70s and above. I'd recommend starting on 60 first. The second thing I would change is build-up play. Now, long ball. Now, you're probably going to say, well, isn't that going to make it more attacking and make it more a risk and prone going forward? Yes, that's true. But don't forget, Ethan, of course, being the amazing player that he is, he triggers a lot of players going forward. Long ball is going to help that left back go up quicker as well. That's number one. It's also going to help the right back, right mid, should I say, go in, get into play as well. And it's also going to help the strikers go forward on build-up play. Think of it like getting behind for the first 2/3 of the pitch. Just think about it that way. So I would recommend long ball, and that is the only changes I would make. I don't want to make any other changes, the one I explained to you in the end, the game-changing change, should I say. That's the only difference, because again, it's his tactic. If I make the change, it would be my tactic. And of course, I don't want to change too much. I just want to give you a few little gists here and there. But balanced, I think, for most players should be fine. Just don't use slow build-up play. I think that kills the whole formation. And don't use don't use fast build-up plays. I think that is way too quick. Even at pro level, is way too quick. And I think for chance creation, just do not use possession. So that would be my take. Just go long ball and reduce the depth. And if you're an old gen, reduce the width back. Everything else is fine. Now, the things I would say, this player, before I go on to the game-changing thing, this player has to be a pure defensive player. I'd also introduce stern edge of the box for a cross, just in case you trigger a player indirectly. Just leave this person stern edge of the box. Right mid, that's fine. You ideally want someone here that I think my suggestion would be someone who's got high work rates or high medium, because this player's going to be coming back from right center mid when attacking to a right mid when you're defending, okay? So you want high stamina here ideally, or sub this player out. Someone that can do this job very, very well. I think you can get away with a winger here, someone like a Son. High work rates would be key. They play Ginola there. I would say someone's got high work rates, good stamina. The other left centre mid, I would say you can kind of get away with the weaker player. This player's on stay back while attacking. I play Vasquez there. I think someone that's agile on the ball is very important, because if you've got a traditional Vieira or someone on stay back while attacking, you need this player to maneuver to dribble the ball around. So I would say here a Vasquez or someone who's got good dribbling stats. Renato Sanchez, even a Marquisio would work perfectly here, who's also got decent stats. Left mid, exact same thing for the right mid. You can do a traditional left winger here. Just needs pace because they're going to be going on comeback and defense. And I would recommend getting behind additionally if you want that attacking play as well. Striker's fine. He used R9, I believe, there. And the right striker as well. And Mbappe, Rodrigo also will do very well there. And that's the rest. Now, this right back and left back, two things I would say. Number one, conservative interceptions is what I would go for. Just for counter-attacks and they don't leap forward. You can play this play with stay back while attacking and it will defend in a 4-4-2. This is for like, okay, let's say you use this formation and you use it and you're like, you know what, I just get counter-attacked too easily. Get rid of long ball. If that doesn't help, let's say long ball is still too effective on balanced, then just put the back four and stay back. It does ruin the formation because you lose that attack in play. Because that Vasquez player technically is there to cover for Cancelo. That's the way that they like to play it. So I would recommend leaving this player on balanced. But you can also, I would just say, look, high work rates is ideal here. If you've got a bad work rate, it's like a medium, you may need to put during the attack on. But I will be honest, I would say balance. Try to find someone here again who's pacey. No 85 sprint speed. I'm talking 99 sprint speed is what I'd ideally recommend with a shadow. That's just my recommendation. With pros, they can get away with someone who's got 90, 95 because they've got that ability to react in time. If you're not a pro, you haven't got their reactions, you haven't got that ability, you can go with someone who's a bit more faster. That way you have a bit of leeway. But I'd always recommend max pace for left backs and right backs. So definitely that's the thing I would say over there. So high work rates, ideally high medium if you can, but don't go high low because someone like Davies, high low, they don't really come back in time. Low defensive work rates with the balanced destruction, and that is that. So what is the game-changing thing that I think they can implement? And even I would say I've not seen the pro players do it, but when I've known about this formation for some time because it's been there for the last couple of years. Really, it was used last year as well. But the one game-changing thing that I don't see pros doing, maybe if a pro player watched this, they would probably change the way they do it. And if you're a regular viewer, you may know it's one thing, and it's called hug the sidelines. This changes the formation completely, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. When we activate Hug the Sidelines here, Hug the Sidelines does two things. Number one, the three players, the left forward, right forward, and striker, they still stay in their position. You can see just below over here, you can see Papin there. But look at Cancelo on the top. Look how he's hugging that sideline. So that switch is going to make both the right back and the left back be as wide as possible. So when you have that ball with your right centre mid, or you have the ball and you're trying to rotate it around, for example, like here, you can see how Cancelo is then in acres of space, which I can pass the ball to. That pushes the right back away because he has to commit. And then you can cut inside, do that once with manual play, and you can very much put your opponent in a bit of a bother. That is the real game-changing thing, is to activate Hug the Sidelines. However, on the pro scene, if there is ever going to be a pro watching this, what I'd recommend is using Hug the Sidelines variably, because you can turn this on and off in the game. It's like a light switch. As soon as you turn Hug the Sidelines on, remember, they then go variably to the wide positions. So you can turn this on and off inside the game to outplay your opponent, because they may try changing the width. But when you're completely reactive and try and change up all the time, it allows you to go down the wing. We know how the meta is as well, where you go down the wing and make a pass back forward with direct passing, second pass, first time shot. But now you have that ability, and something else even better with the player lock or creative runs on the pro scene takes this formation to a different level. At the bare minimum, I'd recommend everyone to use Hug the Sideline, because I really think it changes the formation. And sometimes the player's right back AI locks onto that player as well, depending on the formation. And then it also just makes it easier for that player as well, especially if you, for example, use that player as like a decoy, you commit that player and you make a mistake like my opponent did, and you can get through. That is what I'd recommend for the game-changing feature. But that is, of course, the tactics. I hope you enjoyed this series. One of my favorite series. Those are my changes. Don't forget, if you want to get better at FIFA or see more information, things like this, don't forget to check out my Patreon series, patreon.com/Neil, guys. Link is down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is, of course, the Neil Guys guarantee. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, catch you next time. Peace out.